Right now we want to share the story of a Knoxville man who wants a new prosthetic arm.
He lost his right arm in a farm accident at the age of 17, but he's worked ever since. Well, he called WATE 6 on Your Side reporter Don Dare after his insurance company said he didn't need the prosthetic arm.
That's right. His company said at first the high-tech arm was not medically necessary. The information Tommy Jones received in February from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee hit him hard emotionally. They said at the time they would not pay for his prosthesis. He told us he desperately needs a new arm and has never asked for anything before. For about 35 years, Tommy Jones has been a heavy equipment operator. On this dozer, he lifts himself with one arm. Tommy lost his right arm nearly 40 years ago in a farm accident. Deftly, he uses his left arm with ease. Watch as he adjusts the lever, steers, and adjusts the lever again while maneuvering the machinery. Mr. Jones has never been on disability, rarely missed a day of work until last year, when his left arm gave him trouble.
I fell a little over a year ago and I tore a tendon. And they had to go in and attach it back.
How long were you out of work?
I was out of work probably, I think it was like 2 months.
Earlier this year, his therapist suggested that Tommy have his left arm tested. You have this strength test in January. What did they tell you about your arm?
That it was just about wore out.
You're worried about your good arm?
Yeah, I'm worried. I can't live depending on somebody to take care of me. It's hard. I can't hold my grandbabies.
You can't hold your grandchildren.
Great-grandchildren, I cannot hold them because I'm afraid that I will drop them because at times my arm gives out and it just goes.
Do quick open, Tommy.
Then in February, Tommy was given hope. At Victory Prosthetics in Knoxville, a certified prosthetist tested a high-tech prosthesis. The discovery? Muscles in Tommy's shoulder were alive. He could willingly move and control the hand and fingers in what will be an upper limb prosthesis. But his insurance company denied the limb. The insurance letter here says not medically necessary.
Yeah, the insurance, they turned it down, said that more or less, way I understand it, I don't need it.
Tommy says he needs his good arm to work. He says the new prosthesis would make his life whole again.
If I don't get it, and I have to keep working, I'm going to end up losing this arm.
And you don't want that?
No. I have worked. I've never asked for help. Never.
2 weeks ago, we wrote to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, Tommy's carrier. We told them about him, how his use of the high-tech hand was successful, according to his therapist. Within days, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee replied saying, "We have approved the prosthesis." The company said initially the requested prosthesis fell into an investigational category because the finger articulation capabilities are new. Our responsibility is to advocate for affordability and safety. Anytime new technologies are introduced, the company said, we review scientific literature to see what effective options exist. We have completed our review. We have approved the prosthesis. The new arm is going to make the world a difference.
Yes, it will make a whole lot of difference.
Tommy said his prosthetist called with the good news.
I've been on cloud nine ever since. I'm anxious to get it started.
And we're told by Victory Prosthesis it will take several weeks before they're ready for Tommy's fitting. Then it will take a few more weeks of testing and therapy before he's ready to go with his new arm. And Kristen and Ryan will let you know in a few months how he's doing with his new arm.
Well, tonight a man with one arm is one step closer to having a new one.
We first told you about Tommy Jones in April. At first, his insurance company rejected his plea for a high-tech prosthesis in April, but then it was approved. In this follow-up story, WATE 6 on Your Side reporter Don Dare shows us the progress Tommy's making.
Yeah, well, the last time we saw him, he was being fitted with a body cast. Recently, he went through a test run using some of the features of his prosthesis. It will come with computer chips that he'll be able to program for various hand grips that he'll need and use on the job.
Tommy, go ahead and give me an open signal. Pull that shoulder up to open the hand. Good.
This is Tommy Jones' first lesson for a special prosthesis he's waited for nearly 4 decades, and it works.
Now, act like you're holding something out. Perfect. Go ahead.
In this initial lesson, prosthetist Jenny Rhodes taps her computer that sends a signal so that Tommy can control the high-tech hand.
So this is a position, it's called a 3-jaw check.
Jenny is taking baby steps with Tommy as she explains several simple grips, like picking up small objects and taking an object.
So this is a lateral grip. So this is something that people use a lot of times if you're taking something from someone. So all you have to do is give me a closed signal, and that grasps onto that. Until you give an open signal, it doesn't let it go.
Tommy listens intently. He's determined not to fail. He lost his right arm in a farming accident when he was a teenager. His new prosthesis, what you see here as a prototype, is a few weeks away from being finished, and he has many lessons to go. Tommy is a heavy equipment operator. He's worked this job using one arm for nearly 4 decades. When we first talked in early April, he was concerned about his left arm. He injured it last year. That frightened him. He doesn't want to stop working. In February at Victory Orthotics and Prosthetics, he successfully demonstrated that impulses from muscles in his shoulder were alive, that he was a good candidate for a high-tech prosthesis. But within a few weeks, his insurance company wrote to him and said, no, the new prosthesis was not medically necessary, according to the response. In April, we wrote to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee and explained what the video showed and what the certified prosthetist confirmed about Tommy's arm being alive. The insurance company changed direction and approved the arm.
You're gonna pull me over.
In May, Tommy was fitted with a plaster cast to capture the shape of his torso and residual limb. The prosthesis he needs does not come off the shelf.
We pulled an initial socket and fit it to Tommy.
This month, Jenny Rhodes showed us lightweight plastic material that will wrap around Tommy's shoulder and upper body. Within time, these small computer chips will give Tommy the option of up to 10 different grips that he can use. Right now, however, he's learning to use 4 simple grips.
Whenever he gets used to using those, that's whenever we'll start programming different Bluetooth chips that he can put in the dozer. He can keep one on his keychain, he can keep one in the bathroom, and each one of those chips has different grips that he can load into the hand just by holding the hand over those chips.
Since Tommy hasn't used some of these muscles in years, his prosthetist says he has some work ahead of him. But she's optimistic about his success.
He is a go-getter, and I have no doubt that he will really do well with this prosthesis.
The finished prosthesis will be made of a durable material to hold up to Tommy's rugged everyday use. And he can't wait for the final fitting.
So far, it's good. I was ready to take it home today, though.
Now, once Tommy is fitted with his new prosthesis, he'll then work with an occupational therapist. It's likely he'll go through sessions twice a week for as long as it takes him to learn how to use the prosthesis effectively, and he cannot wait.
Well, tonight a disabled heavy equipment operator is able to hold his great-grandbaby for the first time in both arms.
This is a heartwarming story that we first brought you 3 months ago when Tommy Jones was desperate for a new arm.
So he called WATE 6 on Your Side consumer reporter Don Dare, who of course went right to work on his case. Don.
Yeah, we've been following Mr. Jones' progress since mid-April when we first talked with him. Over the past few years, new technology has been applied to prosthesis, arms and legs, which can be expensive and sometimes considered experimental. The arm that Tommy Jones received, which at first had been denied, will enable him to continue working. He's never been on disability, and he is now using the new arm at work. For years, Tommy Jones never thought it would be possible to use 2 arms at work. The one to the right is his new prosthetic arm. He's only now getting used to it. For nearly 40 years as a heavy equipment operator, Tommy used only his left arm, after losing his right one in an accident as a teenager. With a prosthesis, he figures he'll be able to continue working for many more years.
I'm slow at it right now because I've still got to figure out how to get it adjusted. Every time I get on it, I got to adjust it to get it back in place, but I've been doing it.
He injured his left arm last year and feared he'd have to quit the only job he's known. That thought changed, however, with his new arm.
But it's like that I got a new life.
So this is the lock for the elbow.
Last month, Tommy was fitted with his prosthesis by Jenny Rhodes, his prosthetist at Victory Orthotics and Prosthetics.
So this is Tommy's definitive prosthesis. This is the arm that he will go out and use every day to complete the tasks he needs to do.
It is very sophisticated.
It is. Under the glove here, we start with the high-tech hand. It's held on here by a quick disconnect wrist. We do have the ability to take that hand completely off and change out those terminal devices.
Jenny and Tommy's physical therapist are going to keep things simple for now while he learns how to use the arm so he doesn't become frustrated. In April, Tommy showed us how he depends on that left arm, how he's used it since his amputation in 1979. Last spring, he wanted us to know about the potential new prosthetic. But at the time, his insurance company wrote, it can't approve the arm. It's not medically necessary, which devastated Tommy.
I can't hold my grandbabies,
You can't hold her grandchildren.
great-grandchildren. I cannot hold them because I'm afraid that I will drop them because at times my arm gives out.
We wrote to Tommy's carrier, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and explained the successful test run in January for the type of hand that he had been recommended. It didn't take long before the insurance company approved the arm. Beginning in May, we started documenting the process for the fitting of Tommy's arm. While his insurance company would pay the bulk of the bill, he would be responsible for paying a substantial deductible. Then, last month, Jenny broke some unexpected good news.
Something that Tommy doesn't know is I found out over the weekend that the rest of his financial responsibility got taken care of by an anonymous donor. So he's not going to owe anything on this hand.
Here's the best video. Tommy holding his 9-month-old great-grandson, Luke, with both arms.
He sits there just like it's nothing.
So what's this like now?
It's wonderful. It's a dream come true.
Tommy Jones is grateful to so many people who have made this moment possible.
And his prosthetist, Jenny Rhodes, says he still has a lot of work ahead of him, especially learning how to handle the different grips with that new hand. Fortunately, Tommy is motivated and he wants to do all he can with his new arm. He sees a physical therapist weekly and believes in a few months he'll have that new arm and hand mastered. You know, it was an emotional moment seeing him hold that baby without fear of dropping that little guy.
Priceless moment.
Yeah.
We were both in tears, and I know you were too.
Yeah.
So many things stood out about this story, Don. The baby, number one.
Right.
The anonymous donor.
Oh, that was
number two.
No one knew about that but Jenny. And
Whoever
she,
you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was
And
wonderful.
then number three, what an inspiration, because he never went on disability.
No.
He never stopped working
No.
either.
No, and
As a kid, he never said, I can't live my life
Yeah.
and be an adult.
And all he wants to do is work, and that's what he'll continue to do.
And hold his great grandbabies.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Don.